Screens glow, coffee cold, minds woke. 2 mics, 1 code. Yeah, yeah. Scrolling through the chaos, headlines loud, hearts numb. Then I hear that drip talk, cutting through the hum. Gem with the side eye, true stain with the data in his cup. They don't just gas up dreams, they show you how to level up. Oh, from the hustle to the headlines, from the culture to the grind. Every angle, every timeline, they lace and never waste your time. Welcome to the daily drip. Let it run, let it run, let it hit. Oh, tech and politics, stacking common sense. Turn it up, feel it in your chest. Click in, let your future flip like describe your own ascent. Every gem, every take, every tip. Oh, yeah, they make it make sense. Yeah, I'm tired from the doom feed, faith in rent thick algorithm playing mind games, selling you the same quick fix. Then I catch that real talk about credit scores and crypto slips. Union fights and AI rights, and why your boss be talking slick. Left lane, right lane, truth rides in the same frame. If it's cap, they call names. If it's facts, they fan flames. Oh yeah. Welcome to the daily drip. Let it run, let it run, let it run, let it hit. Tech and politics, stacking common sense. Turn it up, feel it in your chest. Click in, let your future flip like describe your own ascent. Every gem, every take, every tip. Yeah, they make it make sense. Yeah. From your side gig to your 9 to 5, from the group chat to the bottom line. There's a late night guide through the glitch and grind. If you listen close, you gon' change your life. Change your life. Welcome to the daily drip. Let it run, let it run, let it run, let it hit. Hey, tech and politics, stacking common sense. Turn it up, feel it in your chest. Dig in, let your future flip like subscribe to your own ascent. Every gem, every take, every tip. Our daily drip, they make it make sense.
Welcome to our Daily Drip Show. I am your solo host tonight again. It is me, Jim Jones, but kind of, sort of, in the background, I got riding with me Cassius Pay. So shout out to Cassius Pay for coming through and not leaving me alone. Very much appreciate it. Thank y'all for being here. Shout out to those in the chat. Let's go ahead. Let's keep it going in here. Let us know where y'all from. By the way, check out the socials below if you have not caught up on the many different shows that we've done, as well as different types of media that we've done. You can catch all of those below on various platforms. Who's not riding along with me is Plain Dane, but we will have him with us next week. Very excited for my brother to come through. So if you don't know about our show, you're new to the show, new to being the I Squad, we are our Daily Drip Show, where we do politics, news, media, and a little bit of drip of, things that are important to us and relevant. And my headphones are like incredibly high. I don't know what's going on. I'm hearing like everything super intense. But y'all, all right. So before we go too far into it, like I said, I'm Jim Jones. Cash Pay say hello to the people, and then we'll get to it.
All right. What's up, everybody? I look forward to the show so we can go ahead and get it in. Thank you, Rocco's Tacos. Saying that it's the best stream. Love it.
Very much appreciate you. And if you ain't subscribed, go ahead and do that. If you ain't hit that like button, go ahead and do that. It's free, don't cost you nothing. Speaking of cost you something, we gonna start off with warrantless entries. No thanks. No thanks for me, but guess what? It's a thing. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that, because cops can enter your home without a warrant. Let's see how sticky this gets. Let's go, y'all.
With a recent decision that we need to talk about, I got to update you on this. William Case versus State of Montana. It applies to all of us because that court unanimously said that the cops can come into your home, barge into your home without a warrant, without probable cause, with none of the stuff that we've needed for several hundred years. And I'm talking everybody agreed. Justice Kagan agreed with Justice Thomas on this. So let's talk about how did we get here, folks? How are these cops now able to get into your home without anything? Well, I'll tell you what happened with William Case. His ex-girlfriend called the cops, called 911 and said, I'm afraid he's going to harm himself. I'm really worried about him. And to prevent that harm, I can't say certain words, right, on social media. So to prevent him from harming himself, the cops barged in.
Boom.
But when the cops barged in, some shenanigans ensued, and William Case got charged with some felonies, and his defense attorneys said, like I would say, hey, you do realize this is the United States of America. Y'all can't just barge in.
Now, I'm going to pause it real quick. Fourth Amendment, y'all, protects us against unreasonable search and seizure. So for those who are not in the U.S., Constitution protects us, especially at the federal level. There are state laws that also, you have to abide by within your area and so forth. But Fourth Amendment, so probably gonna get to that. Cassius Pay, did you have anything to add before I continue to let him cook?
No, I mean, like people get swatted and all that kind of stuff. This is those types of items which make our liberties a little bit more sustainable, and especially through our judicial system at the Supreme Court level, it kind of stripped away a little piece, right? Like taking the rind off of a piece of fruit. So that's where the concern comes from, because now people can essentially make up any BS type of reason to say, oh, well, I thought that, we can just barge in. I'm in my drawers. Is that a reason for you to come into something real big and real long was rolling around this? You know what I'm saying?
we go ahead and let
It was
him keep
dangerous.
cooking. Watch
yourself.
Oh no.
All right.
You don't have a warrant. You don't have probable cause. Well, went all the way up to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, yes, they can barge in under this limited, what they call the emergency aid exception. Now, basically, the court said, if the cops have an objectively reasonable basis to enter, and that basis has to be somebody is injured or somebody's going to be injured, right? Then they get to barge in, and they can do away with all the paperwork and the checks and balances that we put in place for centuries.
So I fear for my life. I fear for someone else's life. I have concerns. I hold my wellness check questions for the end, but we're gonna let them keep cooking. But yeah, I fear for my life. I fear for someone else's life. I fear for their life. All potential reasons for this to occur.
And try to save somebody. The problem is, I don't know, sometimes this stuff gets abused. So I hope this doesn't get abused like all the other exceptions get abused.
That's what I'm talking about.
The United
no
States
knock
Supreme
warrants.
Court.
Same thing.
Same
thing.
So my thing is, I'm going to give an example. Yeah. So Rocco said, yeah, agree. So my concern is wellness checks, right? Like I believe, if I'm not mistaken, drop some drip in the chat if I'm wrong. Anyone can call for someone to help a wellness check.
All right.
So that means
Jim Jones got a hangnail. We got to go in there and stat. We got to go in there and save her. Her hangnail is hanging.
And
in there.
The kicker is when they tear your house up to get in, they don't even got to fix it. So you got a broke door. Doors are not cheap. They be like, they don't even say my bad. They just, they good in here and just walk out. Like, bro.
Well, that brings us back to that whole Afro Man situation that we talked about not too long ago, right?
Man,
where he made that
we
song
could do a whole
in order
episode on Afro Man, boy.
Yeah, in rural Ohio, where where they kicked in his door and everything under false pretenses. So really, it's shoring up the false pretenses, where they stated that he kidnapped somebody and all this kind of stuff. So he turned around and made a song with his freedom of speech about how the officer was eyeing his lemon pound cake when they broke down the door, and he said one of the sheriffs was a SOB. And after that, the song went a little viral, and that's the money that he used to pay for the door that they broke down that they didn't pay for. In which Rocco says, dun, 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 dun. Oh, wrong one. He said they should pay for it, which makes sense.
Yeah, they should pay for it. Yeah.
Right.
Afro Man also smashed somebody's wife.
No, it's his freedom of speech to say that he did.
I know, but it was like my guy was like, I'm gonna go ahead and but for them to come in this home was wild. But yeah, this is definitely a good example of that. I believe they didn't even find anything illegal in his house, so
yeah, but just
no
to bring it
probable cause even pull up in his house.
Right. So the Supreme Court says your home is where the Fourth Amendment is the strongest, right? Warrantless home searches are presumptively unreasonable unless narrow exceptions like emergencies or hot pursuit types of scenarios apply, right? Like you housing a fugitive and they know for sure that he's up in there type thing, or she's up in there. So extingent, we're gonna use some big college words, right? Extingent circumstances is just lawyer speak for someone's in danger. Evidence is about to be destroyed, or the subject is running inside right now. Like they know for sure homeboy baseball sliding up in there. So the cops, they don't get a free pass just because they say the word, supposedly, right? So this is where we have this whole situation happening. So a National Civic Survey found out that only 1 in 3 Americans could correctly answer basic questions about search and seizure. This is where it comes about knowing your rights. So this means that most people are winging it at the door. So we want to make sure that you go ahead and you understand your rights as we go forward. So for the lack of being born, go ahead and hit it.
Oh, you talk. Well, that was it. That was the end of the video.
Oh, okay.
That was it. That was the end of the video. Okay. No, that's the end of the video. But at the end of the day, we're bringing this up. We're gonna go through this show quickly if we can, but just know that this is to inform you that this is what some changes or even clarification that has happened. Like, just know these are reasons they can pull up in your house, and they ain't fixing the door. They ain't fixing the door. They ain't fixing the wall. They ain't got to do none of that, which is crazy, y'all. So, speaking of people entering homes without an invitation, how about a politician who actually invited himself into a homeless shelter? So let's go ahead and talk about the mayor of Colorado. Y'all know about the mayor of Colorado? I've never been to Colorado. I heard that it's super awesome. So would love to go to Colorado, but yeah, this is interesting. Let me make sure I grab the right one. That is not the right one. What's going on with this? And this is the fun part about being live.
Well, why are you doing that? I'm going to talk about how people can kind of arm themselves in these situations. So
there it is.
Before you totally go over there, I want to make sure that I hit that point.
Okay, yeah.
The main question what you ask is, do you have a warrant? Right, that's the main question.
Do you got paperwork?
Exactly. So, do you have a warrant? And that is an attitude, right? It's a couple things. And my name is Cassius Pay, so I'm gonna always bring it back to wealth, because it's wealth protection if you ask if they have a warrant, and it's future you protection. So it's a couple things. One, when they kick in that door, you gonna owe that money, right? You got to fix that door, because when they bust it down, they busting the whole lock off, everything. So you got to board it up. It look like a crack house after you done with it, right? So you need to make sure that they not going to, like when they kick in stuff like they do the Kia, bitch, they be all kind of crazy.
And that's what Afro Man made them pay for them messing up his house, which is rare. That's why we bring that up. Really rare. Yeah, he had to take them to court.
No, he got taken to court because what he did was he made money, and then they tried to sue him because of he used his First Amendment because of their trampling his.
But then he countersued, I believe, right?
Countersuit don't matter. It was more along the lines of making sure that he was good. So asking if they have a warrant, it protects you. And the bottom line of it is, if the Supreme Court is calling for warrantless entries and making sure that is presumptively unreasonable, but 2/3 of us don't know when to say no, the system is eating people who never got the memo. So this is what we are doing. We're doing our part to inform people to make sure that you're protected where you can understand in just a clear way. Mm-hmm. So let us know what you think in the comments. Rocco said it was unfair, and yes, it is. But also being knowledgeable is more than half of the battle. So arm yourself with knowledge.
Because it could be you. That's why we bring it up. Like, yes, this was a scenario where this happened, but it could be you. So your friend, your family, whoever. So that's why we want to make sure we bring this up. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and segue into the mayor of Colorado, though. So the mayor of Colorado was like, listen, we got a homeless problem. If you've been living under a rock, that's the only way you would not know that Colorado has a homeless problem. Pretty much any major city probably has a homeless problem, to be honest with you. So this mayor every week decided to go and be there in Aurora overnight to see how he can make it better. He wanted to understand the experience, kind of like Undercover Boss, like that show Undercover Boss, where the bosses, people don't know it's them, and they working, moving boxes or whatever it is, and they're like, oh man, might be talking stuff about them, and he like, dang, they feel that way about me. Well, you won't know until you boost to the ground. So he said, I'm gonna do that. So what this says is that there was, it came under fire for having issues in plumbing. So he said he figured he'd go ahead and learn about it and then, find out what's going on there. This is a view of what it looks like. What my assumption too is that those people did not know that's him. Really, something like that only works if they don't know it's you, especially at first. So in this quote, it says, one thing I've learned is how complex everything is and how individualized it is. You can't categorize people into any particular group. You have to see them as individuals, quite frankly, made me more compassionate. He's seen how it's helped people. And so this is the thing, homelessness, right? Everybody in a homeless shelter is not there for the exact same reason. They don't have the exact same background. And probably 99% of the people who make decisions around funding, around process, around regulations, are people who've never been homeless, never had someone that they care about be homeless, or even like, regardless of homeless, not having basic necessities even in your home is important too, because your empathy is different. And so I'm assuming he's someone who did not grow up like that or have to be around that. And so he was like, well, let me go ahead and immerse myself essentially in the culture, right? To almost
be more empathetic.
So as I get something across my table, I'm going to question, why can't we do this? Not why should we do this? Why can't we do this? That's how those kind of thought processes are changed from why should we to why we can't. These are the types of actions that kind of switch people towards
this is what I would call like understanding what public service is. So it's good. There's people that are homeless for, like Jim Jones said, a host of reasons. I used to live in the downtown area, and sometimes you get to know people because like they be there, right? Where you might you do your part to pay for the meal for the same cat for a couple months while they doing they stint in the downtown area. You take them to Chipotle or something like that. It's expensive now, but when I was doing it before, it wasn't that bad. But You get to know people. They are PhDs. These are ex-doctors. These are people who are extremely intelligent, and then for one reason or another, they just
Hard
say, you
time.
know what, I want to, or they just say, I want to be free. And definition of free is relative when it comes to, you know, what I want. Like, I don't feel like being on nobody's phone or nobody's time. And to do that, there's some people who be on spiritual journeys and they say, you know what, I'm gonna go and I'm going to make sure that the Lord provides, right? And whatever I get, that mean that I'm meant to be on the path that I'm on. There's people who out there doing that right now. Should we say that they living in the wrong way? Obviously they're alive and they're surviving. Right? So that's what I'm getting at when it comes to that, where the mayor is sleeping in a homeless shelter. And this is Aurora, Colorado, right? So he says he slept one night a week in the city's homeless shelter since February. And that's a cot that he's sleeping on in a 600-bed navigation campus. And that's the one that his administration built. So the Arizona's broader homelessness and housing push is tied to more than $100 million in local and federal money for the shelter, for treatment and supportive housing. So Colorado,
Aurora, Aurora, and just to note, like, Aurora, from what I understand, is not a poor place, mind you.
No, it's not. They've had some other issues back in the day too. So this is like they end up being in the spotlight every now and then, and this is for something.
That's where the movie theater situation happened.
Exactly. Exactly. But it's in 2023, it found out that over 11,000 people there experienced homelessness statewide. So with the Denver metro area being responsible for the majority of it. So a lot of people, you know, they go to the outskirts because that's where some of the resources might be, and it's just less people, probably less crime that goes along with it. And nationally, the U.S. hit about 653,000 unhoused people in 2023. And that's the highest since the government started the detailed counts back in 2007. So this isn't a niche problem. This is a real problem.
Very much real
problem. How do I get to it from a growth mindset position? Again, my name is Cassius Pace, so this is where I always try to target. I try to target to what can we do or what can we measure, right? And so what we measure here in this case is return on investment from his perspective, and it's PowerPoints only. And you have to go where the money lands and see if it changes anybody's odds. So if you're signing on a 9-figure homelessness plan and you never once slept in the building, you are doing more branding than actual leadership. And so this person here, I commend for actually getting in there and getting their hands dirty to understand the situation, understand where process gaps are, not only being the person in the soup kitchen, but being the person that eats the soup. Is more than commendable.
Yeah, earlier I was showing some of the services that are provided to, like, it was like dental care, primary care, child, like pediatric care. So a lot of those, like, people think like, oh, why would people go to the shelter or whatever? Even if you live with family, how do you get access to those things? So I think it's really, really good. I'm glad that it sounds like he's going to, if he may have already been prioritizing it, but this is going to be a different type of way to look at it. I'm glad to see that they have resources set up. And I would say that every state probably doesn't even have that extensive of a list, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to Colorado for going ahead and being the change that they want to see.
I agree. And this is for us on this stream. Be the change that you want to see. If anything that is leading us to understand during harder times is that, you know, hard times create great circumstances for people who want to step up and lead.
So At least this mayor is sleeping in a shelter and not in a bed he shouldn't be in, y'all. Because this is going to bring us to Congress. Because Thomas Massie said, I'm about to expose where all the tax dollars are going. And baby, I'm telling you, it's cover up hush money. Y'all ain't hear about it? Y'all don't know where y'all tax money going to? Well, listen, I didn't realize that anybody who pay taxes, I pay taxes. Even if you don't
if you buy
report
something,
your
you're paying
taxes,
taxes.
even if you don't file your taxes and you got a job, you still pay taxes. So this is apparently a part of where some of that money going to. So let's hear about it.
Pursuant to Clause 2A1 of Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intent to raise the question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows. Directing the Committee on Ethics to preserve and publicly release records relating to monetary settlements involving acts of sexual harassment, whereas transparency is essential for accountability in government, whereas
Y'all hear that? So he said, listen,
I heard
wanna
sexual
go ahead-
harassment. Like this,
Yes.
this ain't the meeting I want to be at. Just, huh?
Yeah, he said, I want to bring up transparency into sexual harassment for those in government. So we'll let him go ahead and cook.
Accountability,
sexual
you
harassment and
say?
unwelcome sexual advances by members, delegates, or residents commissioners in violation of Clause 9 and Clause 18 of Rule 23 of the Rules of the House affect the safety, dignity, and the integrity of the proceedings of the House of Representatives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that with respect to reviews, investigations, or matters which the Committee on Ethics or the Office of Congressional Workplace Rights have reviewed, conducted, or facilitated, the Committee on Ethics and the Office of Congressional Workplace Rights shall, not later than 60 days after the adoption of this resolution, make publicly available a single consolidated list that sets forth separately for each member, delegate, or resident commissioner the name of each member, delegate, or resident commissioner who was the subject of any review or investigation involving a violation of Clause 9 of Rule 23 of the Rules of the House of Representatives as it pertains to acts of sexual harassment, or Clause 18 of Rule 23 of the Rules of the House of Representatives, or any case involving sexual harassment or sexual abuse if it resulted in a payment of taxpayer funds, and adjacent to each such name, the total amount of taxpayer funds included in all settlements, payments, reimbursements, awards, or other financial considerations paid in connection with such matters.
That was a lot.
He covered it. He covered all of it. Like as long as
he said, go ahead.
He said everything. He said everything.
He said, listen, I'm gonna summarize where we at for now. He said, look, I'm proposing this, and within 60 days of its adoption, I want this to happen. Hey, I want y'all to tell everybody who's involved, down to people in committees, okay? Like, I want all of them. Anybody who been getting money that was accused and or paid out funds to cover actual, because I don't know if we're allowed to say actual harassment or misconduct, aka let me go ahead and bring it back to Bill Clinton long time ago, Monica Lewinsky.
Well,
right?
if money exchanged hands, and
so like that, well, it would have been misconduct reported. So just even off top, let's say it's just something like that. We'll bring it back down. We ain't gotta go there. You go to work, you see Timmy touching Jenny's booty over by the coffee bar, right? Now listen, you don't know what's going on with that. Jenny go to HR. She said, listen, that's misconduct. They put it on the record. They don't gotta tell everybody, but it's on the record. They say, listen, Jenny, we're gonna slide you a couple of dollars. We ain't trying to have all that.
Right,
yada,
yeah,
yada,
you
yada.
shut up. You need to shut up.
In this context, they're saying that's cool. Tell where the money came from, because in this situation, since it's government, they're not getting money from a company. They get money from you. And so he's saying, listen, if you're going to use the taxpayers' money for this, then tell them who, when, and why. Because it's their money. So it's up to us, as they're our constituents, to tell them what happened and where we spent their money. So that's where we at.
But there's like people who habitually get these. It's not even get out of jail free cards. This is just handing out extra money. And we need to understand if this is a trend or a cycle that we need to rid ourselves of. People talk about, the Steam files and all of that. It goes way deeper than that. It's a era of accountability that needs to be pushed into our psyche. And so I'll just get into it a little bit while we here in the middle of it. So this is on the Massie piece. So the House just voted 420-0. Who gonna say no? Who gonna get caught saying no to this? To release the records of sexual harassment and misconduct settlements involving members that used taxpayer money. Only one member voted present. Present. An earlier review found that between 1997 and 2017, Congress's Office of Compliance paid over $17 million in settlements for 260 plus workplace disputes, including harassment on behalf of House and Senate offices. That's from CNN.
That's insane.
And other places have put it up there. The money was drawn from public funds. Not from individual lawmakers' personal accounts, meaning that taxpayers footed the bill for behavior they never heard about. And that's what this wants to address. What we're trying to do is we're trying to instill trust, trying to instill accountability, trust in the federal government to do the right thing, at least most of the time, right? Quote unquote. Sits around 20 to 25%, which is near historic lows. Stories about secret payouts are exactly what drives that number down. Financially centered peace. That's what I always try to give. If the public is paying the tab, the public deserves the receipts. That's just basic corporate governance applied to government. Go ahead, and if you're going to hit it, go ahead and hit the last bit of it, and then we can close it on down.
The aggregate total amount of taxpayer funds included in all settlements, payments, reimbursements, awards, or other financial considerations paid in connection with such reviews, investigations, or matters involving members, delegates, or resident commissioners that did not, in any portion of the settlement, involve sexual harassment, sexual abuse, or sexual misconduct. The aggregate total amount of taxpayer funds included in all settlements, payments, reimbursements, awards, or other financial considerations paid in connection with such reviews, investigations, or matters involving, in part or in full, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, or sexual misconduct by employees of the House of Representatives, and the aggregate total amount of taxpayer funds included in all settlements, payments, reimbursements, awards, or other financial considerations paid in connection with such reviews, investigations, or matters involving conduct by employees of the House of Representatives that did not, in any portion of the settlement, involve sexual harassment, sexual abuse, or sexual misconduct. That for the purposes of this resolution, any such settlement, payment, reimbursement, award, or other financial consideration shall be treated as involving sexual harassment, sexual abuse, or sexual misconduct if sexual harassment, sexual abuse, or sexual misconduct was any component of the matter, regardless of whether the matter also involved was classified as or was resolved under another claim, violation, or category.
So he said, if
man,
you
this is like
all,
worse than somebody's mortgage doctrine right here, boy.
Oh, yeah. He said any matters of it being involved at all. We want to know all the money. Everybody involved. And if it's a certain level of, it's classified. We can't really nope, you use my money. Use their money. You use their money. You use their money. You must want to talk about it. Ugh. Boy, like Massie wasn't playing. They made him mad.
Yeah, under the threat and penalty and perjury, that's good because we've been at an all-time low of trust in the U.S. government, and it's high time that we do things. And you know, he on his way out, right? So
that's why he like, okay.
So if I'm gonna be on my way out, all the stuff that I've been sitting here trying to wait and just try to buy my time because look, at least I'm in the seat. And at least I'm trying to do things incrementally to save the country, even though I'm going against a rising tide. Me being in this seat is better than somebody else being in the seat that's unscrupulous. And so when you have got 20% trust, right? And then 17 million in secret payouts, full disclosure isn't brave. It's overdue maintenance and a rotting brand. And we need this now. We need more accountability now than ever, whether you're right, left, or center. This is what we are coming for.
Yeah, he said, oh, okay. He said, bet, I'm about to get out of here. Oh, it's cool. It's cool. I got something for y'all. If we had one of them clue bombs, I'd drop one of them. Boom.
Is there a clue? You need a clue bomb?
Yeah.
You need a clue bomb.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what he did. He came in and blew up the spot. But here's the thing, like y'all, the sheer volume of hidden scandals is probably insane. When they open this up paired with the Epstein files, like we're not just looking at like, oh, it's just the elites. No. He about to blow the top on all these people with access, spending other people's money, using connections and access, abusing the opportunity. It's gonna be a whole lot of shifting going on in some of these government seats, baby. I tell you, it's gonna be a whole lot of shifting going on. It's a whole lot of shifting that's about to be going on.
Well, the thing is that you forced a lot of people to wake up from their senses and not have these micro situations bother them as much now. Now everybody's, we used to call them what, first world problems, right? Now we turning into real problems. Exactly. It's real world problems now that we done turned into. And it's too many of those micro fissures that are happening in the space where trust has eroded, where people are now waking up. It's like getting in trouble when your parents thought that you was doing good. I thought he was doing good at school. I thought she was doing good at school. Oh, now we got to look at everything. Oh, now we got to look at everything because I trusted you for this long. You've been lying to me. Oh, no, we about to, first punishment comes, right? That's the first thing. And now we're going to unearth and we're going to make sure that everything happens the way it's supposed to, because we don't need to come back to this particular situation. We're not going to have this conversation again, young woman or young man. We're going to make sure that we're good. Because I don't need another call from the principal's office on this bullshit where you're supposed to come in, you're supposed to be at school, have your ass at school. That's it.
Yeah. So
look at that. I sound like a daddy, don't I? That's how my grandfather.
Listen, I wasn't gonna say nothing. I ain't got nothing to do. Listen, so Congress is toxic, y'all. The culture of it is toxic. And honestly, so is the stuff on your dinner plate. So let's talk about toxicity. Let's talk about how the FDA is basically just signing off on grocery store poison. Like, no questions asked. Nothing to see here. What am I talking about? Wouldn't y'all love to know? Lab-grown meat is now FDA approved in America, enticing the supplier of KFC, Taco Bell. It's funny, the biotech making it. So let's take a look at, why it matters. So these are different brands that are cleared by the FDA since November 2020.
Good meat. Good meat. Oh, okay. Wild type. Believer? This is
grown on other deceit. I don't know. But right. Listen,
believe me, brand.
They don't call them approvals. This is the issue. It calls it no questions letters. Have any of y'all heard of these brands? Drop some drip in the comments if y'all have ever heard of any of these. I've never heard of these before. We got Upside Foods, Good Meat, Mission Barns, Wild Type, Coho Salmon, Believer Meats. So let's see how, from the memo, says that the cells come from adult chickens for human consumption. Those cells are then used they take a gene, and then the gene is apparently this gene is in some human cancer tumors. And yeah, so the cells are not from a tumor, but they're engineered to replicate forever. So that would mean that like the cells do too, because the cell is the base of growth.
You
in
are
life.
what you eat. And
Yeah,
at a
so
cellular level, this is where we talk about the things that are happening where people are overgrown. You have babies that are, infants with obesity and stuff like this. And it's expensive to eat healthy. Where we can keep it real unless you are in a space where you can farm for yourself. People gonna start having to go back to canning and everything else.
Well, let's keep it real though. With the way things are going from a food perspective, some people can't even afford to not eat it. Like, if you eating that one potato and this chicken is the only chicken that you can afford to even eat to get some protein, you gonna eat that. Like that's where this gets wicked. So according to this, the cells multiply to form muscle and fat, and then from the binders, that's how it kind of ends up to a final product. And like the issue here is that nothing that we've said was we went out and got a living, breathing thing and it got slaughtered and you cooked it. Everything in here was like, I went in the lab, extracted a piece, put that over here, took some other stuff, dropped it in there, mixed it. There you go. Like that's nothing in here. So it's not farming, it's not grown, it's manufactured. So let's see, according to this, here are some people that invested in it. You got Tyson, Memphis Meats, Future Meat Technologies, Believer Meats. But listen though, like we're not gonna go throw no shade because the thing is FDA cleared them. The FDA cleared them. So because listen, we might get shadow banned. Make sure I hit that like button. Make sure you hit that
Right, 'cause
subscribe button.
we're
Make
bringing
sure you
it to
tell
you.
two people you like and somebody you don't, because baby, they might even shadow ban this video. Because this is not shade. Honestly, it's not really even shade to Tyson. They're running a business. The shade is to the FDA. We go back to what we just talked about with Congress, where they're taking our money to pay for misconduct, behavior that we didn't elect them to do or be a part of.
Well, the FDA is elected anyway.
No, but the FDA is still a government entity, and if I'm not mistaken, they're still going to be funded by us, and they're funded to be the best interest of the people. Now, here's the question, the philosophical question. Drop some drip in the chat. Is the best interest of people to create product that is longevity, even if it's not real, but it's sustainable long term? Or is it real and in the best health interest for people to live longer, long term? I think it would depend on who you ask, right?
Well, shoot. Do you want your belly full, or do you even want a stomach? Because you're gonna end up with stomach cancer messing with this kind of stuff. I remember that there, when I was a kid, they were talking about how food supply, water supply, stuff like that was going to deplete at a certain amount of time. And so because of that, that's how a lot of the bioengineering even started. And so if that's the case, then they had to create food. So I know that was happening many years ago, probably even before I was born, honestly. With like something we can keep it real where that rhetoric comes from. The thing is that what I'm going to just bring up is this, and it's food for thought. If we had our largest population boom between 1960 to 50 to 1965, right? That's baby boomer territory, and everybody lived. And we don't even have that level of population growth now. And people weren't talking about we need scientific chickens back then. Why do we need them now? Why couldn't we sustain the same level?
Scientific chickens.
The same level of chickenhood. We can keep that now. We don't need any more, any less. The same level of pastures are there. We even need less because there's less population that's happening now. There's more vegetarians now probably than ever.
and
So
less kids as well.
That's
right?
the
Because
main thing I'm
population
saying. That the
overall, yeah.
population boom is not there.
Mhm.
So I don't want to hear that BS about this beyond bullshit that everybody's got to eat. Sorry.
Well,
I only
let's
need to
take a
eat meat
look.
maybe once or twice a week anyway, and it don't got to come from this milk jug that's coming out of here. In my opinion, for my body.
Let me whoa, that's not what we wanted to do here. Let me go ahead and get out of
I
that.
said Prop
And
65. I don't know if
I
I
know
like that.
that ain't what
Oh,
I was
you-
looking for.
Prop 65 meat. Okay, that's another story in itself.
Nah, I'm trying to get to where it's a supplier for, and I'm trying to make it bigger so y'all can actually see it because it's kind of hard. I think, especially if you're looking on your phone, it might be kind of hard for you to see. So I think that should be a little bit better. So let's see. Tyson
There you go.
Foods is a primary supplier for the following companies, and then we'll move on to something else because we definitely gonna get shadow banned for this. So make sure you hit that like button, y'all. KFC, Yum Brands. Now, just for fun, just go look up Yum Brands. This is just a very small list of who is actually under Yum Brands, but KFC, Taco Bell. Y'all ever wonder why them McDonald's chicken nuggets don't taste like it did when you was a kid? Bam! Great Value Chicken, Walmart.
In your opinion,
Oh, the chicken nuggets?
they don't. Yeah, they don't taste the same. In your opinion.
But I think they did say they changed the recipe. Like that's not even me being like funny. Like this is if they want to say they were supplying this same kind of chicken way back in the day, I'd be curious. Like y'all tell me how y'all was sourcing that back then. I mean, I would love to know. I don't know if it's an opinion or not at this point, because how did y'all do this back then? Because if they're supplying the chicken and that chicken is made up chicken and made up chicken wasn't back then, I don't know. I guess I'll say alleged because we already gonna get shadow banned.
There you go. Thank you.
Walmart's Great Value Chicken, and then Kroger's Private Label Chicken.
What's that called? A signature? Is that signature chicken?
But
Okay.
Tyson is a huge supplier for chicken. So I'm not gonna say it's in all of Tyson's chicken, but y'all can go ahead and go through. I'll make sure I drop this link and y'all can check for yourselves. But I mean, everybody can't be lying, y'all.
No.
Someone
So
said
I-
all
let
these
me-
folks throwing their arms up in the air over lab-grown chicken and not the actual chemical-induced chicken you have been eating from Tyson's and JBS for decades.
And that's another space that you get into where like Norway and the
You
and
said
the
this. Someone brought it up. Cassius Pay.
Yeah.
Soylent Green.
Yeah, tell people to go and check that movie out. It's on YouTube. I promise you. It's a black and white movie. Very, very good. One that you want to check out. But Norway and the EU restrict and ban several food additives, certain dyes.
So glad you brought them up. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and preservatives and processing agents where they're illegal in a lot of US cereal, snacks, and desserts. But let me take it to why it's a big deal for us before she gets into that article there. Nutrition research shows that Americans now get around 57% of their daily calories from ultra processed foods compared to much lower shares in countries that limit those additives. That's 57%. And then let's get into the CDC. Yeah, she looking a little stout right there too, right? But the CDC estimates more than 37 million Americans have diabetes and about 96 million have pre-diabetes, with the diet being the major factor to that. And you can't even outwork a bad diet. So let's pull it together. It's gonna catch up to you anyway.
Yeah, you can't outwork no bad diet, baby.
No, you can't.
You're not gonna do that. So this article, real quick, y'all, before we get into our next part. This is from the legalclarity.org. Lab-grown meat FDA approval, regulations and state bans. Here's what it says. Cultivated meat, sometimes called cell-based or lab-grown meat, is regulated in the U.S. through a framework. Let's talk about framework for a second, because sometimes y'all pull up to talk techie to me, and framework is something that we'll be talking about soon as well. But framework is just the general guidelines, just general ideas. It's not a rule. It's just the beginnings. So the beginning for the FDA and the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food Safety Inspector Service. So that's who regulates, is FDA and the inspectors, right? The two agencies split oversight on at a specific point in production. So as we give the FDA a hard time, let's look at what they do. The FDA handles everything up to the moment cells are harvested for the bioreactor. So they got everything to do with how it's made. The inspector piece, the Food and Drug Administration, inspectors take over from the processing, packaging, and labeling. So once it's made, like how it's like more so like how it's made and distributed kind of thing, like the distribution part. So how do we take it and give it to people would be the inspector part. That's why they come in and how do we present it to people. So that's why you got food inspectors, right, that pull up and they eat the food and go check it out, because they're part of how did you prepare it.
They not eating the food, they testing the food.
You
Let's
know
be
what I
for
mean.
real.
But listen, that's what they say. I allegedly, listen, I don't know no food inspectors, but they pull up to look at the food and to test the food, right? And then a lot of times they go in the back of the kitchen to see all that stuff too, because how you prepare it is a part of actual inspection. But here's the interesting part. They don't inspect anything up until that point. The FDA is a part of how it's made. So they're approving the actual bioengineering of the food. By the time the inspectors get it, it's already like created. The ingredients and all that stuff, that's all passed by the FDA.
Well, the thing is, they're just looking at it. They're saying, okay, does it look like food? Yeah. Is it chemically food? Yeah. Is it going to kill people that we know of in the next 10 years?
Yeah, no, I'm just playing.
Cool.
Me.
Right. Can we go ahead?
I just play, y'all. Give you cancel.
Yeah. Okay. Then let it ride. We'll figure it out and we'll cover you later through insurance. Next thing you know is mass lawsuits that come because the company knew whatever it was that they were feeding people, but they decided that the risk was greater, and so it'll be fractions to what the actual profits are in 20 or 30 years from now. And then we start hearing about mesothelioma and bullshit like that been coming up in some of these old ass people commercials that we see on a regular basis. Let's keep going.
So on this, like, so they both got to sign off on their part, right? So like, we're just talking about food in general, right? They both got to sign off on their part in order for it to be like a product, right? But once again, that's like the framework. And then you have states that are like, that ain't just good enough. You gonna do some extra stuff for us as well. So they can add restrictions. So if you go into whatever state it is, they can also have some restrictions. So this is going to break down kind of like what I said before, but I can go ahead and make sure I put this in the notes for the video so y'all can take a look a little bit further, because I don't want to spend too much time on it, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get shadow banned. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, because the food people do not play, baby. They don't play.
Make sure you guys comment too. But from a money, but I'm gonna take it to a money angle as well, right? So diet-related diseases like diabetes, right, cost the U.S. hundreds of billions of dollars a year in health spending and lost productivity. That's one piece that we always got to go back to too. So the real price tag is on cheap and frozen desserts. That's really what it is. So if other countries tell our food no thank you, while half our calories come from ultra processed stuff and chronic disease soars, then that means one thing: the FDA allowed it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a strategy. It's a warning label. Essentially what it is. This food is allegedly no better than cigarettes.
Well, Listen, y'all.
Yep.
With the minimal scrutiny that the FDA has, this is exactly why European nations like Norway straight up ban and reject American food exports, y'all. So let's take a look at what Norway. Well, shout out to Master Investor. Y'all know I play his content from time to time. But Norway's football, aka soccer team, playing FIFA, shipped 2,000 pounds of food in the U.S. instead of eating the American food. That's expensive.
Oh, they.
Oh man, we got music. I know. Let me do that. Yeah. So they refused to eat the American meat, 1,000 kilograms to the World Cup because they didn't trust our groceries. But basically, this video is showing, and I actually think I have a closer one. I can actually, the same content creator, I have another video that we'll get into too later. But yeah, so they basically said, y'all food, that ain't it. We not messing with that. We not rocking with that over here. We not doing that. Our people gonna eat real food. That's crazy. They don't even trust the food that we give the athletes. Meanwhile, our athletes over here eating that. Let that sink in for a second. Based on what we just talked about with the FDA and inspectors, do you blame them? Drop some drip in the comment. Have you been to another country? If you have, is there a food that you ate there, then you ate it here, and you're like, man, it's significantly different? I talked about this before. I had a coworker bring back this chocolate. It was a chocolate pistachio chocolate bar from Dubai. When I tell you, it tastes so different. It was so good. The ingredients, the way it was made, it was so good. And he was like, yeah, I can bring stuff out of there to y'all, but y'all, I can't bring none of this stuff here. Like family, like, can you smuggle me one of them Twinkies or something? He's like, no, I ain't going to jail. I'm not going to jail for a Twinkie. They're serious.
In their mind, you bringing them basically bringing a missile into the area. That's how bad it is. You bringing carcinogens into the space.
So just let that sink in as we go ahead and segue into the World Cup. We're gonna talk about FIFA real quick, y'all. FIFA got their last 16. So shout out to the team. Just want to shout them out real quick. That's left as of now. The team we just talked about, Norway, still standing strong, which means they gonna probably send in another 2,000 pounds to feed their people. You got Canada, Brazil, Paraguay. I believe they beat Germany, which was an upset, which is crazy. Morocco, Norway, France, Mexico, England, Belgium and US play, I want to say, in a couple days. Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, Egypt, Argentina, and Colombia/Ghana. I'm wondering if they had to play still. But these are the teams. Shout out to the teams that are still left according to the Olympics.com. Here is the bracket. I don't know if I'll be able to actually get close.
There you go. Look at that.
There we go. Can y'all see it?
Yes.
Shout out to FIFA. Shout out to FIFA. Glad to see people come together and see a sport together, just be together, be able to just bond a little bit more on the worldwide stage, and also understand more about other people's cultures, including the fact that y'all don't think that our food is worth a damn.
I mean, there's been people saying that they love the fast food too. People talk about Chick-fil-A and everything else, but that's the food come talking. That's the itis talking. But in 2026, the World Cup round of 16 features heavyweights like Brazil, France, Spain, England, and Portugal, plus co-hosts USA, Mexico, and Canada.
Like I said, shout out to Paraguay for that upset, y'all, against Germany. It was crazy. That was a crazy kickoff.
And the surprise side pieces like Norway and Morocco locking in spots. FIFA estimates previous World Cups generated 5 to 7 billion in total revenue for the tournament, with
That's
billions more in
insane.
tourism for the local economies and the activities that host the cities. So it's a big money grab. In 2026, or for 2026, it's spread across 3 countries. Major U.S. cities are banking on tens of or hundreds of millions in each for visitor spending, but also absorbing security, infrastructure, and overtime costs. So it costs a lot for that. Historically, host cities didn't plan long term or ended up with white elephant type of stadiums and like debt instead of development, while smart cities use the spotlight to build transit, housing, and permanent upgrades. So think of it like the Olympics in a lot of cases where some of that infrastructure sticks and stays. One of the things is from LA hosting the Olympics so long ago. But my other take on it is if your city can pull off weeks of safe, high capacity fan traffic for FIFA, but can't keep buses running for shelters funded for the rest of the year, the issue isn't the ability, right? It's just priority.
We said earlier. That's what we said
Exactly.
earlier. 100%. Like it's not why can we? It should be why can't we?
Or why don't we? Why didn't we?
Why is it not possible? What do we have to
Yeah.
give up that's so great? What's the trade-off on that? Is there a
Right.
middle point? Because you sure found a way for the FIFA to do when they come.
There you go. So
It
the
was
World
no
Cup,
problem.
it ends up being a stress test, right? If we can manage millions of fans and billions of dollars for 30 days, we can't pretend like the everyday problems are impossible.
Yeah. So that's all I got for the people's briefing. We gonna go ahead and go into rewind and rethink. All right, y'all. We gonna get into the great debate. Is it hygienic necessity or a hospitality violation? As y'all watch this, drop some drip in the chat. Let us know what y'all think. What side you on? And then there's gonna be some actual scientific details.
Parts of the world and the internet. It's something that couple American Sophia and Serbian Pedja quickly learned when they shared their different views on social media.
The reason that we made that video was because there was a huge debate between my family and his.
I grew up in a house where we took off our shoes.
It was like very strange to me that I'm like, oh, you want to like smell my feet?
A lot of
So the
Stanky
great
ass,
debate.
feet ass.
The great debate is: should you take your shoes off before going in the house, or should you go ahead and walk through your house with your shoes on? So that's what it is. Drop some drip in the comments. Let us know. Do you keep your shoes on in the house, or you take them out? Take them off before you come in the house or at the door.
a lot of people are disgusted by, oh, how can you wear shoes in the house?
But is it really unhygienic to leave your shoes on indoors? BBC World Service went to a microbiology lab at the University of Brighton to find out.
These are your shoes.
These are my shoes.
Where have you been with those? We're going to get your shoes, swab the top and the bottom, and then we're going to put that sample onto
main
some
thing is
agar
going to be
plates.
E.
Going to
coli
come
from
back in
fecal
24
matter
hours.
because everybody step on shit outside.
Is that what you
gonna
think
be
it
the main
is?
thing. Yeah, it's gonna be the main thing.
Let us know what y'all think is gonna be on it. I'm gonna give y'all five
and
seconds
shit.
to see.
Yeah, which one is it? I vote
right.
for shitty feet.
I've seen this, so I'm not gonna say anything. So let's go ahead and keep it going.
And then see what's grown. Back in the lab, here are your plates. So we found Staphylococcus aureus, and that can be very nasty, even in healthy people. If you scratch yourself, you get Staph aureus in there, you can get a big boil, sort of infected pus, but also it can cause significant infections like pneumonia and also a bloodstream infection in people who are immunocompromised. Those bacteria that we found could stay alive and able to infect other people in the household for quite some time, maybe even a few days, particularly in a nice, safe, warming environment like a carpet. All around the world, there might be different bacteria. There'll also be funguses and also parasites. So wherever you are in the world, you should definitely take your shoes off as soon as you get indoors.
Right. So there you have it, folks. They tested, they said you should be taking your shoes off. So we talked about food. Talk about hygiene. Take your shoes off when you go to the door, because you bring that in your house. You bring that in your house.
If you got them stinking ass feet, then I have a bowl of water for you when you come in the house. And people used to wash people's feet in biblical times, right? Take your stinking ass feet and put some soap and water on them things. Take them stinking ass socks off. We can put them through some soap in the water, right? Studies have found that shoes track bacteria in public bathrooms, road dust, and even traces of pesticides and heavy metals from outdoor surfaces. One EPA-backed study found that taking shoes off at the door can reduce certain indoor contaminants like lead dust by up to 60% in homes. And we already know if you got a baby rolling around and floating around, and you're gonna step around, like that's an issue.
Baby
Right.
got
And the
sick.
baby put their hands in their mouth. All kind of crazy stuff. So cleaning and flooring replacement are real money, right? So US homeowners can easily spend hundreds to thousands of dollars every few years on carpet and floor maintenance or replacement. So no shoes stretches that timeline out. Health plus money is what I'm trying to get at for you right here. So fewer toxins and allergens indoors can mean fewer doctor visits, fewer missed work days, and less medication for kids, asthma, and allergies. You should see how many HEPA filters Cassius Pay got going around on every floor in every room in his house. I don't play no games because I like to breathe clean air. And there are contaminants and plastics and everything that's floating around in your house anyway. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac when it comes to that part, but nevertheless, a simple door rule to practice in setting standards is if you cross this threshold, this is how we move here in this house. So you might hear, well, there are a lot of Asian households and Asian cultures that already do this, where they provide people with slippers and other things. Some people give people, what do you call those things where you cover up your feet? They look like little bags or whatever, like little felt bags, so people don't bust their ass when they in your house. But you're gonna cover up, and you're gonna keep them stinking ass shoes on, right? So that's the other thing. So little foot covers. And then other people, they give people socks when they come in, come in the house. Like here's some footies. We keep those, and then we wash them when people leave on out. So that's the thing. The last thing I'll say about it is that you can't control the city sidewalk, but you do control your entryway. And the research says a no shoes rule keeps more poison and more costs off your floor. Just wanted to share that.
Well, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get into actions have aftermath, because whether you keep your shoes on or off, nothing is as dirty as what the dairy industry is doing to our desserts. So let's move to the aftermath of reading the food labels, y'all. Y'all ready for this? We just messing up. We messing up all of the things today.
We informing you on this 250th of all yeah. So
it says, this is why I never buy Brewer's ice cream in the supermarket again. So this is guys swapping fake ice cream and real ice cream. This is a disturbing clip exposed sneaky tactic Brewers using to push shoppers into counterfeit ice cream versus dessert.
Oh, so dairy dessert versus ice cream.
So dessert is not real dairy. So they added something so much worse. So every dairy dessert starts as an antibiotic lace, and they pump full of cheap corn syrup, then ripped it through tanks with the same gum used in fracking fluid. And that's nothing.
Damn.
That the goop is what trans fat, a bunch of other stuff, compressed air, cannot melt. So anyways, if you look on the back of the labels, long story short, on the dessert one, that's the one with all the corn syrup and so forth. So it's not even made with like actual dairy.
Actually,
So
flame retard is what that look like.
yes. So
We definitely
y'all
get shadow banned for
gotta
this.
y'all
get
gotta
shadow banned
hit
for
that
that.
like button, hit the subscribe button, tell somebody, two people you like and someone you don't about the show, because the thing is, it's not like we're making this up. This is shared information. And once again, like, this is not to be shady. At the end of the day, a lot of the scientists are trying to find a way to like stretch the food sources and make it cheap. So that's what they're doing that. So I'm not trying to shame brewers or anybody else, any other brands. Like, that's not the case, but it's just to inform people that it may be cheaper. But I would ask you this: anything you buy that's cheaper, you should probably want to know why is it cheaper.
I mean, but let's keep it real. Like,
or even there's two different brands in there, even if they cost the same. Like, why is this called dessert and this one's called ice cream? Question mark. You the same brand. Suspicious. Because
I'm just saying, like, some of these things were things that, like, you didn't have ice cream every day or every week. You might have had ice cream on two people's birthdays, right? Back in the day. That's all that I'm saying, is that some of these things were called delicacies for a reason.
Yes, they were.
Back
well,
in,
listen,
all of that.
Well, listen, I need my ice cream. Now you got me out here doing this because I done ate all the desserts and the ice cream.
Well, shit, but the thing is if it's flame retardant, then how much running off you gonna be able to do with something that's chemically delicious? Like, there's not enough running off you be able to do because it's inflammation. It's chronic. It's not the same as just straight up fat. You gotta do some other things. You need chemical help, which is what's going on
detox.
With people taking all of these extra. Definitely detox. Fasting, if you can. I would, in my opinion, right? If you can do it, then go ahead and do it. It's not health advice, but it's something that I practice. So, the US, to legally be labeled ice cream, the product has to contain at least 10% milk fat to meet certain limits on added ingredients. Many cheaper brands dodge that by calling it a frozen dairy dessert. So it's not even 10% milk fat.
And that's why it doesn't say ice cream. It says dessert for a reason. Look, we all got phones. We all got AI. You could ask AI why. And then if that AI, we talked about this on Talk Tacky to Me, that AI give you an answer, go ask another AI. Go ask the other AI. If they all saying, because they got no real dairy in it, baby.
So
probably ain't got no real dairy.
To let you know this, because I always like to pull in different pieces, right? So Americans now consume roughly 20 pounds of ice cream and related frozen desserts per person per year on average, meaning that there's real money in shaving a few cents off each serving. So that takes us back to that ultra processed piece. For sweet products, they're linked to higher risks of obesity and metabolic disease, which bring higher healthcare bills later. So even if the dessert was on sale, that's upfront. So labeling games are legal because regulators carved out room for them. And that's a policy choice. It's not an accident. Again, let's bring accountability back into the piece. If the carton avoids saying ice cream, but still wants the price of ice cream, assume the difference shows up later in your body and your medical bills.
I'm just saying, y'all. So, look, y'all already know they gonna shadow ban this one. So listen, y'all, we go wrap up the show with some good vibes, though, y'all. We go ahead and because we're celebrating the 4th in the United States, the 4th of July weekend with some high energy. Okay, listen, we gonna show y'all a little bit of that tenderness because I know you're gonna be out there getting a barbecue. Y'all gonna be out there barbecuing. So let's go ahead and shout out to our international folks. This one's for you. It's just a little bit funny. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Whoa. I know you're from where you're from.
We're foreign. What we don't know what we're doing.
Stop with the knife.
No, you don't need a knife?
No, you pull it apart with your hand. And listen, hold up. And you take your fingers and you lift that up and you eat it.
Okay.
Not with a fork.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry.
Enjoy holding your food and eat it like that.
I love eating with hands. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. No.
I'm sorry I let it get that far.
No. I'm safe. We're not used to meat being soft enough to just rip it apart without a knife. Okay. That's not normal. Cheers. Better as in America.
Diabetes.
Look at his eyes.
Yeah. All that sugar. His whole body lit up. All that corn syrup.
Oh my
Barbecue sauce definitely got that on it.
Wait, what?
Molasses. Yeah, look at that. That sugar.
It is the most succulent meat with the most beautiful glaze.
Can you see how cleanly that's come off the bone? You see that? I'm sorry, I completely lost the words.
Happy 4th, y'all. Go get y'all some nice.
Fourth.
Get y'all some meat that comes cleanly off the bone. If you can. Maybe not so much molasses potentially, but I don't know. I ain't ate there before, so I can't talk about them. All right, y'all. I am your co-host, your solo host with Cassius Pay rolling with me, Jim Jones. Happy that y'all dropped with me tonight. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You made it all the way here. Hit that button. Also, hit that like button. It's free. Don't cost you nothing. We appreciate that you are here. Make sure you tell 2 people you like and someone you don't. You won't regret it. We will see you next Friday by 11:30 EST, 11:30 p.m. EST. Plain Dave should be back with us. We appreciate y'all dripping with us. Check out the community page. Check out the socials below. I am Jim Jones, and I will see y'all next Friday. We out of here. Happy 4th. Bye, y'all.
Be safe. That's what I'm going to say.
Shout out to Cassius Pay. Thanks for riding with me.
Be
safe.
Safe.
Yeah, definitely be safe.
So think about this. I'm gonna go ahead and.
Are we not done?
Need 2 things. No, I got 2 things I want people to be safe about. So, the National Safety Council estimates around 4th of July, the U.S. sees hundreds of additional road deaths. So a lot of them are going to be alcohol related. That's the reason why I wanted to bring it back and tell people to be safe on 2 accounts. Be safe on that road, and the other part is about fireworks. Right? So fireworks alone, they account for roughly 10,000 emergency room visits annually. And that's the highest rates being among teens and young adults. So be safe for real. Celebrate your freedom, but don't set your money or your body on fire to do it. Independence isn't a vibe. It's a balance sheet in a lab result. Love y'all.
Yeah, don't get on fire. All right, y'all. We will see y'all next Friday. Make sure to hit the like button. We out of here. Bye, y'all.
Let the rhythm grow. Everything, yeah, we hit the boats. Raise your cups, yeah. Let's make a toast. Jam dance, yeah. She's paid a host. Dripping daily from coast to coast. Ooh, yeah. What's in your cup? Let us fill it up, jamming. Bringing all the stuff, cash is paid, no face, no case. Be so smart.